If you could make someone addicted to you by pressing a button, would you do it? Because in this video, I am going to show you exactly how that is literally possible, and I'm gonna give you a power that you have to hold with responsibility. I know it probably seems too good to be true right now. I'm going to explain how that's actually possible. In fact, in this video, I'm going to give you 5 different ways that you can make a guy addicted to you. And really, it's all by just using the power of psychology, which in my opinion, when you understand psychology on such a deep level that you know how this stuff works, it is like a superpower. And that's why I'm really excited about this video. And if you are excited for this video as well, give it a thumbs up down below. Let's try and hit over 5,000 thumbs up. If we can get over 5,000, I will gladly make another video like this in the future. And with that being said, let's not waste any time. Let's just dive right in. So the first way to make a guy addicted to you, and what we're going to talk about right now, is kind of like the evil, like messed up way that you shouldn't actually use. And the reason I'm even talking about this in the first place is because I want you to be aware of when a guy might use it on you. And what I'm talking about specifically is when a guy plays mind games, very specific types of mind games. And I already made a whole other video that's all about different mind games guys play, but this is the way I want you to really look at it. There was this study that was done on rats where they put them in a cage, and what they would do is they would have a button that the rat could press, and if it pressed the button, it would receive food. Now here's what happened in the study. They would put the rats in the cage. Eventually, one of the rats would like bump into the button, and then it would receive food, and it goes, oh wait, if I press this button, I get food every single time? That's awesome. So then the rats would basically just press the button, eat the food, and when they're full, they're good. They don't need any more food. But here's where it gets interesting. They did another study, okay? They got a different group of rats, put them in a cage, and then they had that same button, but here's the difference. When they pressed the button, they wouldn't receive the food every time they pressed the button. They would only receive it some of the time. And in this study, the rats would get addicted to pressing the button because they weren't sure if they were going to get the reward or not. So it became kind of like a game, like it was addicting to them. That's why people get addicted to gambling, because you're addicted to the thrill of maybe winning. If you won every single time you went to a casino, you would continue to play because, you know, you're winning money. But besides the part where you're getting money, you wouldn't be addicted to going to a casino if you won every single time. Does that make sense? So how does this apply to you? Basically, when a guy plays mind games, what I'm talking about specifically is when a guy, you meet him, he treats you like a queen, he loves you, you're like his little princess. And then over time, he gets comfortable around you, he thinks pretty much, okay, you like him, everything's good. And then over time, he starts to treat you worse and worse. This is a super common thing I see with a lot of my private clients. They ask me, hey, what do I do? This guy, he's not treating me the same way he used to in the beginning. I don't know how to fix it. The point is, that guy probably doesn't care about you. He was infatuated with chasing you, with getting you attracted to him. Maybe he has low self-esteem. I'm not really sure. It depends on the guy, but the point, he probably doesn't even know he's doing it, but if he does, he knows that you are, he's basically a casino, and you're the person who's trying to win the money, except instead of trying to win money, you're trying to win his approval, like him treating you well. And you should not be in a relationship with anyone who doesn't treat you well 24/7. If the guy is going to treat you like shit some of the time and then really well some of the time, you're going to get addicted to that gamble, that idea of, oh, is he going to treat me well today or bad today? And you might not think it's true if it's never happened to you, but you don't believe it until it's too late, until you're actually trapped in that kind of relationship where you're with someone who you do care about them, you do feel addicted to them, you do chase their approval, and the more you chase their approval, the more addicted you become to that person. And I'm only telling you this because I want you to be aware of what some guys might end up doing in a relationship with you down the road, and huge signs of a toxic relationship before it's too late. I could do an entire video on signs a guy is toxic, but this is just one of those ones that I really wanted to like make you aware of just because it's so important, but it's not something that I want you to actually use in your own relationships, because at the end of the day, I imagine your goal is to build healthy relationships with people, not toxic ones where the person is chasing approval and doesn't actually love you, they just love the validation that you might give them, because that's what the relationship is actually building. You just basically confuse the validation you're chasing for the person you're chasing, and all the validation you need should come from within, not externally from other people. Now with that being said, that was probably the darkest we're gonna go in this video. We still have some other really cool ways that you can make a guy addicted to you that are a lot more ethical. So let's talk about some of those. Now the next way to make a guy addicted to you, and by the way, if you found this video helpful already, if you like this video and you still want me to make more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and you hit the bell so you get notifications. That way you know when I upload videos like this in the future. Because there are videos I've made in the past where I would post it and then YouTube, like someone would get offended by it, they would flag the video and then it got taken down, so not all of my subscribers got to see it because they didn't have notifications on. So when you subscribe, also make sure you hit the bell. That way you can be the first to see my videos in case one does get taken down in the future and I have to upload it to Attract Academy or something. But with that being said, the next way that we're going to talk about how you can get a guy addicted to you is through compliments, which is so much better than the last one. Because this is actually a very genuine way that you can make a guy addicted to you. And by the way, there are right ways and wrong ways to do it. Remember, when it came to that study with the rats and how they got addicted to pressing the button, it was by not giving them the food every single time. So when it comes to compliments, something that I think a lot of people think makes someone like them is by just showering them with a million compliments, and that's really not what it's about. This is why being genuine and authentic and your real self and being honest, it actually works better. Because when you give someone a compliment, you shouldn't be complimenting them every 5 minutes on every little thing they do. You should be complimenting them on the little things you notice they do that they might not notice in themselves that you really like about them. Compliment them on things that they do that other people don't do, so you're making them basically stand out from the crowd in your own eyes, because that makes them feel special. And when you're noticing those kind of things, they're not gonna do a million different things that no one else does. So everyone has like a couple unique things about them, and when you point out those things on rare special occasions, it actually does have more weight to it. It makes them feel more special as opposed to if you were complimenting them every 5 seconds. And when you know how to give genuine compliments that people don't hear every single day, like really unique compliments, it's one of those things that really makes people remember you even when you're not around. Now the next way to make someone addicted to you, and this is a really interesting one, but it's about being mysterious. And being mysterious sounds like a very vague concept. In fact, it kind of sounds mysterious. But if I was going to make it as simple as possible for you to understand, basically, when someone is interested in you, when someone likes you, a really good sign to be able to tell if someone likes you is if they're asking a lot of questions about you. Because everyone's favorite topic is themselves. It's the thing we all know the most about. So if someone's really going out of the way to ask you questions about you, it shows that they are very interested in you. And so when you're talking to them, you're having a conversation, they're asking you things, it's good to, you know, give them some information, but also, sometimes when they ask you questions, don't be afraid to leave them on a little bit of a cliffhanger. It's kind of like thinking about your favorite TV series, okay? Every episode ends on a cliffhanger for a reason. Because if you know everything that happens at the end of the episode, you have no reason to watch the next episode. However, if they leave it right at a high point and then they cut it off and you have to wait until next week to watch the next episode, you are going to be obsessed over finding out what happens next. So the first example that comes to my mind, I remember a few months ago, I was at this YouTube influencer party in LA, and I'm talking to this one person, and I could tell she was like about around my age. I wasn't sure if she was like a little bit older, a little bit younger, and so I straight up asked her, I was like, how old are you? I'm curious. And so rather than her just telling me how old she actually is, she wanted to be a tease, and she goes, oh, you know, I'm 20 something. And immediately I'm like, oh, yeah, you can't just like leave me on that cliffhanger. You gotta tell me. And she refused to give me an answer. Now, I don't know if she knew exactly what she was doing, but if I was not aware of what was going on, I would have started obsessing over figuring out the answer to that question. And so later on, what I had to do is I had to basically get her Instagram. I'm like, oh, yo, what's your Instagram? I'll totally add you. I get her Instagram, get her full name, go on Google her name, go to her IMDb just so I could find out how old she was. And the second I was able to find out she was 23 years old, I was so relaxed. I wasn't like obsessed over figuring out the answer anymore. I was good. But if I hadn't known that answer, that's something, it would have been an open loop in the back of my mind that I would have wanted to know the answer to forever. And so when you can do little things like that in your own life to be a little mysterious, have people thinking about you a little bit more, basically leaving cliffhangers and clues about you, the more they're going to think about you and the more they're going to want to know even more about you. Now the next way to make someone addicted to you that's really interesting is all about laughing. And the reason I want to bring this one up is because a lot of people, pretty much everyone who's not aware of it, when you like someone, you are going to laugh at everything they say. Even if they're not funny, even if they are the worst comedian in the world, if you like someone, you perceive them as more attractive, more intelligent, wittier, funnier. Everything about them is better. And here's what I want you to be aware of. If someone makes a joke and it's not funny, don't laugh at it. It's okay to smirk, it's okay to grin, it's okay to smile, it's okay to have a completely straight face if it's not something funny. But here's why I want you to be aware of it. When someone is trying to make you laugh, right? If someone likes you and they're trying to make you giggle and all that stuff, and you laugh at what's funny and then you don't laugh at what's not funny, they're actually going to chase your approval in the form of laughter even more as well. It goes right back to the idea of the rats in the cage. Every single time they press the button, if they always get food, eventually they don't care anymore. So if every time this guy says a joke, you always laugh, he doesn't feel like he has to chase your approval. But if he says a joke every once in a while and it's not funny and you don't laugh, you just smile or you grin a little bit, something like that, it's gonna make him chase it more. Now also, don't be a buzzkill. Like if he's clearly trying to make a joke and you just have like a fucking dead face the whole time, that's just gonna be weird. Be socially intelligent, okay? Maybe don't use this one if you're not really sure how it would work. But it's really simple, okay? When someone says something that's funny, we laugh. And when someone says something that's not funny, we don't laugh. This is like some pretty basic stuff. And it's not even just about getting him addicted to you, it's also about making him a better person. Like, could you imagine if a comedian sucks and then every single time he says a joke on stage, everyone dies laughing? That comedian is not gonna become a better comedian. He's just gonna stay a shitty comedian. That's how you have people like Amy Schumer who get a frickin' Netflix special. She ain't funny. I don't know, I could go on a whole rant about that. Anyway, the point is, don't always laugh at things if they're not funny. Be genuine in the way you behave around someone who you like, and it will actually make them respect you more than everyone else. Now, the next way to make someone addicted to you, and I really did save the best for last because I told you at the beginning of this video, you can make someone addicted to you by pressing a button. It's possible. I'm going to explain how that's possible right now. Because this is something that 99% of society is guilty of, and what we are all addicted to is our phones. More specifically, texting. Because it's been proven that when we get a text message on our phone, we actually get a hit of dopamine. And when we get a text message from someone we like on our phone as well, that's like a double hit of dopamine. Which dopamine is basically the chemical that makes you addicted to anything. Whether it's alcohol, drugs, gambling, people, sex. These are all things that release dopamine in your brain. So now, every time you get a text in general, you're hoping it's from the person who you like because it's that double hit of dopamine, and when it's someone else who you don't have a crush on, it's like a single hit of dopamine, and then you get kind of annoyed that this person texted you rather than the person you like. Psychologically, it is the same feeling you get when you get a text message from the person you like as it is for a rat when it presses the button and it gets the food. As opposed to, let's say you get a text message from someone who you don't have a crush on, that's the same as when the rat presses the button and it doesn't get the food. Now, it just wants to press the button again to get the food even more. Except here's the problem. That person doesn't have the ability to press the button. You do. And that's why it's so scary, because you now have the ability to make someone obsessed with you and do something that makes them addicted to you that's out of their own control. That's why if you have a crush on someone and they're not responding to your text messages, you're like, should I double text them? Should I triple text them? Because sometimes if you text them again, there's a higher likelihood that they'll respond. It's you trying to take control of something that is not in your control. And here's the thing, no one is aware of how addictive and powerful this actually is. Like, imagine actually holding the power to make someone addicted to you simply by pressing a button. That's what we're talking about right now. And here's where it gets even scarier. It takes, on average, 21 days to form a habit. So what do you think will happen if you text someone for 21 days straight? And also, what do you think would happen if I had 21 copy and paste text messages that you can use right now for the next 21 days? Probably some pretty amazing things. So here's the deal. If that is something you want, that is something I am going to give you. There's going to be a special link in the description down below. If you use that link, you're going to get all 21 copy and paste, word for word text messages. That way you don't have to do anything. All you got to do is hit the send button 21 days in a row, and by the end of it, you will have any guy you want addicted to you. And not to mention all the other bonuses that you're going to be getting as well for signing up. When you combine all those things together, you are literally going to make anyone you want love you. And I'm really excited about this because as we speak, hundreds of people are joining the private members area, and this is not something you want to miss out on. So make sure you check out that link below, and with that being said, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next page.